The other problem that I think a lot of these people have is that they have to like accurately or actively try to make it seem like it is comparable to being skinny. And I think that also one thing that you've noticed, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, is that with a lot of these like fat activists and fat influencers, 95% of them are women. And the reason why is that the whole fat acceptance movement is derived from fat women trying to psyop men into dating them. That's the entire thing. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's over.
Beautiful, sexy, confident whenever they can, like every other human.
Yeah.
I wanted to believe that it was to support the self-love journey of women and leave it at that. But no, I decided to ruin my day and my trust in humanity by researching a bit more and found out that Dove is owned by Unilever. And guess what else Unilever owns? Ben & Jerry's.
So you call this in business, you call this vertical integration. And if they fully want to go all the way, they need to buy a funeral home.
Ice cream, Magnum ice cream, and many other ice creams, Hellman's Mayo,
They need to
and
get a mobility scooter business and then a funeral home business too.
all your greasy burgers, Skippy peanut butter, a selection of frozen foods. I can go on. Isn't it nice to encourage your consumers to accept their enlarging body?
Wait. Is that who I think it is? Oh shit.
And deteriorating health as the ideal in order to sell more of your processed foods because their beautiful bodies deserve more. Has body positivity, a movement intended to uplift women, become?
It's all women. That's what it's all about. And also, by the way, there's no one. So you think that men hate women? There's no one who hates women more than other women. Like, if you think that we're bad because, like, somebody makes a joke about, like, a chick being fat or something, these girls will, like, get in these group chats, and it'll be, like, fucking, 8 to 10 fucking hens pecking one hen to death. Like, that's what it's like in these group chats. I've seen the fucking leaks, man. Like, they're sitting there and they're like making fun of like I didn't even know, like they're bringing up things I didn't even know existed. You're talking about like eyebrow length, like the eye width, like like your nose bridge, like what the fuck? These are like those settings in video games. Like, I don't even want to touch these. And they're getting down there in the weeds.
Just manipulative limits to our acceptable emotions.
Stop glorifying obesity. That's... Oh my god. I'm surprised she's not bigger, to be honest. She must exercise.
Sweet child. That's what I do. It's what I live for.
And
so the reason why these fat influencers are very popular, this is another really important thing, is that the reason fat influencers are popular is because it creates a... let me think of a way to put this. It makes it to where fat people that are less fat than them can watch them eat food and feel better about themselves. So, yeah, I've said before that fat people on average are more selfish and self-indulgent than, the general population. And this is just, I mean, everybody, gluttony is a sin for a reason. And so anyway, we know that, everybody knows that. The only people that don't know that, we know who they are. And so anyway, the reason why these fat influencers are popular is because it's a way for people that are fat, but not as fat as them, and they aren't eating as much food as them, to watch them eat food while they're eating food, but they're eating a little bit less food than the fat influencer is eating, so they feel better about themselves. It's basically like the second fattest kid in the class knowing and having a good like self-image because he knows that there's one more kid that's even fatter than he is. That's how it works.
A cover for big food, big farming, and big pharmaceutical companies to profit off a nation of increasingly sick and fat people. None of this is a coincidence.
So the industry has engineered what they call the bliss point for the perfect amount of sugar in products, not too little, not too much, working on maximizing the allure of their products.
Quote, we like them fat. Pick any ultra-processed foods at your local grocery store, for example. Some Kraft mac and cheese and Nestle drumstick paired with some Kit Kat, Coffee Crisp, Smarties, and why not throw in some Laffy Taffy? Pop in the Kool-Aid and 4 cans of Dr. Pepper to keep hydrated.
Jesus.
Oh, and can't forget the Oreo and Chips Ahoy. 4 cans.
Great, that sounds like a really good breakfast.
Orange Fanta for the vitamins. Fanta. Balance, as one may say. As conventional beauty standards have become much more accepting and ambiguously defined.
They're not more accepting and they're not ambiguously defined. This is marketing for women to women. It doesn't matter how many fat chicks you show in a bikini, it's not going to psyop a guy into liking them. That's not how it works. They're marketing to fat women. Yeah, they're marketing to them. They're farming them.
By beauty giants. But guess who owns the beauty giants? Conglomerates like Nestle, Unilever, who sell you anything from chocolate to ice cream to frozen foods, and that is when the Dove body soaps begin to make sense. Not saying that all body positive and fat acceptance campaigns are there to manipulate and trick you into increasing
They are.
your body fat percentage without limits. And that is exactly...
Well, that's what, why else would you do it? What would be the other purpose besides that?
the
There's only
issue.
one reason.
So much of the message comes actually from an extremely caring and helpful perspective to help remove the stigma around plus-size people. But also, so much fat glorification has been disguised as acceptance.
Oh my god!
And when the majority of your stakeholders need to make money from selling frozen pizzas and ice cream, the votes are not up to you. Hiding profit generating.
It's also, you think about it too, is like you can sell one Kit Kat to a skinny person a week. You can sell 6 Kit Kats to a fat person a day. That's a pretty easy decision, right? I mean, if you're in the business of selling Kit Kats, you know where you're getting. You know where you're getting
fat
your money.
glorification under the term fat acceptance is genius in 2 ways. First, it plays on the sentiment of correcting social
All
injustices
bodies are beach bodies? Yeah, I've seen plenty of whales on the beach.
in society. Yes, arguably so, the statistical likelihood of fat and obese people facing more difficulties in society, such as prejudices, is a lot higher. And the stigmatization in media
People have a stigma towards being fat is because it's disgusting and unhealthy. That's the reason why they have a stigma to it. This isn't a stigma like race or, you know, a person with a disability or something like that. That's it.
brought unfair shaming to obese individuals, which should never be normalized. But glorifying obesity, the disease, as
I think
conventional.
it's very easy to understand the difference between shaming and attacking a person for being overweight and acknowledging that being overweight is not equal to a lifestyle of being thin. Like, there are some ways of living that are worse than others. So, like, for example, like, the way that I live is not very good in a lot of ways. And I would never want to say that, like, the way that I live is equivalent to the way that somebody else lives that's more healthy. But the problem is that these people are so self-indulgent and they have so little self-confidence that they need the entire world to shift and mold in a way that makes them feel good about being disgusting.
Beauty hints at a moral superiority and makes anyone's opinions who differ morally shallow, regardless if fat is unhealthy or not. Second, a food company telling you that being fat is natural, which isn't, and awesome is not so convincing.
There's no waistline worry with Coke, you know. This individual size bottle has no more calories than half a grapefruit.
When you can spot their profit motive from 50 miles away.
Coke is low in calories, too. Say now, don't you get any thinner?
A direct hard sell won't work here. But when a beauty or self-care company you never associate with frozen pizza casts someone plus size for a commercial, you get fired up with a sense of justice. Yeah, that is beautiful too. Don't get me wrong, overly restrictive beauty with models who are only Kate Moss level heroine chic is also problematic because, again, it is not healthy. But as much as
I think it's obviously a very big difference between you have somebody who's like I feel like really like any of these like anorexic, you know, Victoria's Secret models and stuff like that. I feel like that's just as weird and gross as being really fat. Like these are like both unhealthy lifestyles, etc. And so there's like a spectrum where like I don't think every girl in like a modeling catalog or something should be like 100 pounds, right? Of course, I don't think anybody thinks that, except for probably girls that have like an eating disorder. But other than that, no, nobody thinks that. But there's a big difference between that and morbid obesity.
many wish, the spectrum of healthy does not stretch over to obesity. It is amazing that women of all sizes are loving and accepting who they are, but genuine self-love and confidence comes from within, and not society telling you or some ads telling you that your size is also quote-unquote beautiful. What we're talking about here is not the opposite of fat shaming. For shaming someone for any reason is not acceptable behavior because it does not come from a place of genuine care, of wanting to help them be well.
I think that's what happens. Like 95% of like fat shaming is just somebody looking for an excuse to make fun of somebody else. That's it. They're not really trying to help you. They're not trying to do anything good. They're just being assholes. Like, that's true. Definitely. Chicken, thanks for the 10 gifted subs. I appreciate it. Thank you.
About the glorification of fat, disguised as acceptance.
Positivity is toxic because it pretends to be rooted in compassion and kindness, but in reality, it encourages women to engage in very destructive behaviors.
Do you remember what I said before about how like so many of people's values and the things that they promote are just simply ways for them to, signal their virtue and signal that they're a good person, and it's not actually about helping anyone other than themselves and making themselves feel better?